A new study on water management and sustainability in the GCC, addressing scarcity and consumption in the region, released by Orient Planet Research, sends out a warning that freshwater supply shortage could be on the horizon if the current water consumption levels in the region continues. Nidal Abou Zaki is Managing Director of Orient Planet Group. He's with us here in the studio. Great to have you back with us, Nidal. What do you think, the current demand for water with population growth, is it sustainable?
Yes, as you know that the GCC is one of the highest has the highest level of consumption for fresh water in the world. And this is definitely a kind of a challenge by itself. With the ever increased number of population, this is going to be a kind of there's going to be a massive demand on water, and the worry is that the supply and demand equation in the coming decade is going to be interrupted. So the current population now is about 50 million people. It's going to increase by year 2050 to about 65 million people. So the shortage that's going to have is about 80% compared to the current figure. So this is going to be sorted out by desalination projects and other sources. However, there is definitely a kind of a big challenge in the region. It's like in the coming few years, by year 2030, the GCC needs about 50 billion cubic meters of water supply. And this is, going to be a kind of a challenge for the governments.
Now, desalination is, you just mentioned it, is very popular here in this region. Why can't we just continue to pump more seawater?
Yes, the current situation is that desalination is the major source of water at the moment in the GCC. And the GCC is having more than 50% of the water desalination plants in the world. Of course, this is going to increase. The GCC governments have invested already about $75 billion over the past decade in water desalination and water treatment solutions. However, desalination is having a lot of challenges. We cannot keep adding more plants. The current desalination projects are going to increase by 40% in the coming 5 years. But desalination is having three issues. First of all is that it's quite expensive. Second thing, it needs a lot of power and energy. And the third thing is having a lot of negative impact on the water environment. And on the biodiversity in the marine life.
What about businesses and households even? What can we do to help the water system more?
Yeah, it's very contradicting that at the time that we are facing water shortage, the amount of consumption per individual is one of the highest in the world. I think it needs a kind of a long sustainable program to educate the people to reduce water consumption, and then also to find more better ways to irrigate the green environment around us, like trees and gardens and so on. So definitely there must need for a kind of a sustainable program to help people to reduce the use of water.
Just finally, Nidal, what were the key recommendations then from your report?
Yes, first of all, an educational program in the GCC for the population, businesses and household. Second thing is that finding better ways for water desalination and wastewater treatment, and find maybe other sources for water like dams and then underground reservoirs and so on.
Very interesting report, and thanks for producing that. Well, you can read it online, of course, as well. Nidal Abou Zaki, appreciate you coming in. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.